Let's get started. For now, laying down in a belly down Shavasana. Honestly, like you've just woken up out of bed and you are super comfy, whatever. No rhyme or reason to where your limbs are, just plop down. There was a day that I walked into the hot room after I hadn't been in for a while. And I was the first one in, and I rolled out my mat and was gonna, lay down in regular Shavasana like I always do. But man, it felt so good in that room, and I was so grateful to be there. I just flopped down on my mat and it just like laid there and felt like anybody walking in probably thought I looked crazy, but I didn't care because I was so comfortable because I felt like I was home. So you're in your home, so just rolling out on your bellies, nothing formal. Just trying to focus on breath a little bit. You may want to have the bolster, if you have a bolster close at hand. Again, bolster is not totally necessary. The pose we're going to move into, you might want it, but you don't need it. So anyways, relaxing down, gently closing your eyes. You're resting your right cheek on the mat. Starting to focus on breathing in and out through your nose. Breath in, breath out. Long inhale in through the nose. Constricting the whisper muscles in the back of your throat as you exhale audibly. Trying to keep that breath, our Ujjayi breath, going through the entire practice this morning. So we have our right cheek on the mat. Let's start to get a little more intentional with this belly down Shavasana pose. We're going to bring our right knee out to a 90-degree angle in sort of this half frog. And we're going to bring our right arm out in a cactus. Just starting to feel a little bit more of maybe a twist in the spine as we're looking left, and we have our right limbs out. This is an opportunity to take this bolster, laying down on it, resting our right cheek. Just taking a few breaths here. And now let's switch sides. So we're going to switch cheeks. I'll remove the bolster this time. Your option to use it or not. You can also use a thick cushion or a pillow. But let's look. Take our left cheek to the mat, bringing our left knee out in that half frog, and our left arm out in that cactus. Resting that left cheek on the mat, melting into it, and breathing in and out through the nose. Let's release out of this. We'll come up just for a second, and we're going to send your knees over to the right, stacking your knees, and then we're going to come down onto our bellies. Again, you can take the bolster if you'd like, relaxing over the bolster, gazing over to the right. And you might want a little extra by taking eagle legs. For purposes of the video, I'll just switch this way. But taking that right leg over the left, taking those eagle legs, and relaxing down, either over a bolster, a cushion, or flat on your bellies. that right cheek to the mat, gazing over to the left. And now let's switch sides. Bringing our right hip down, eagle legs. Again, bolster is available. Practicing the arms, left cheek on the mat. And let's release out of this, sitting our legs long, bringing our hands beneath our shoulders, our chin on the mat, coming into our cobra pose. We're pushing our feet into the mat so much that our knees lift up off the mat. Then our belly buttons into our spine, tucking your tailbone, thinking of having a very flat back, tucking the tailbone, the pelvis sort of tilts forward, and engaging the core, lifting up, using the back, no weight in the hands as we lift our shoulders up off the mat, gazes up, exhale down. Inhale, lift, engaging the core, using the core through the belly and the back to lift the shoulders, exhale down. One more. Exhale, release. Let's take a Sphinx pose. So we're bringing our forearms to the mat. Inhale, lifting up. Holding here for a few breaths. And now exhale, release. Let's push back to a child's pose. Taking our knees wide. Reaching those fingertips forward. Exhaling the hips down towards the heels. Inhale, walking the fingertips forward. Feeling that push and pull. A lot of yoga is about opposite movements. Really releasing and then releasing and then stretching into something. So we're stretching forward and then pulling back. It's a lot of push-pull. So inhale those fingertips forward. Exhale, feel that stretch in the arms and the shoulders and the back. As you exhale those hips down towards your heels. Resting your forehead on the mat. Let's thread the needle here, taking our right arm underneath our left armpit, coming down onto our our right shoulder and right ear. Relaxing into this for a moment, but then using the breath to go deeper. Inhaling and walking those fingertips forward, perhaps. Exhaling and walking the right fingertips over to the side. Using the breath to twist deeper and deeper into the pose. Feeling that final twist. And now let's return that right hand, reaching that right hand forward. Inhale, walk both fingertips forward. Exhale, hips back down towards your heels. And now let's take our left hand, threading the needle, coming down onto our left shoulder, left ear, as we twist into this pose. Inhale, walking those right tips towards the top of your mat. Exhale, the left fingertips towards the side of the room. And let's release. Coming back to our child's pose, walking our fingertips towards the front of the room, exhaling our hips down towards our heels. Now let's come up to a tabletop position, taking a moment for our cat-cows. Inhaling as we rise, eyes and tailbone to the sky, into our cow pose, hammocking the belly, the belly button into the spine, really feeling the muscles wrap around the bones as we arch our back into our cat pose. Inhale, slowly coming into our cow. Exhale, arching the back. Smiles of our elbows turning in towards each other, not blocking out the elbow joints, really feeling the muscles wrap around the bone. Inhale, eyes and tailbone up, hammock the belly, cow. Exhale, slowly into our cat pose. One more. Exhaling in the cat. Now keeping this arch in our back, let's sink our hips to our heels. And now we're gonna just sit back, extending our legs out in front of us. And to our seated forward fold. Arms up overhead, keeping our back flat here, reaching our peace fingers towards our big toes, grabbing a hold of them and keep that back flat as you pull. Feeling a stretch of the backs of the legs. I'm feeling this also all the way into my lower back. Maybe starting to bend those elbows towards your shins. Feeling that lengthening and that strength. Pulling your eyebrows down towards your toes. That helps to remember to keep the back straight. We're not rounding down, keeping the back straight. And now let's release. Let's roll out onto our backs. If you have a block, grab a hold of it. Again, not necessary. A firm pillow or a block or anything like that will help. If you don't have any of those things, just lying on your back is totally fine. But what I want to do is take this block right under like our mid back. Leaning over, opening our arms, is having this chest opening moment, heart opening moment, as our feet splay open. Breathing in and breathing out and releasing. And as you're in this big moment of vulnerability, thinking about unconditional acceptance and what that means. I'm currently reading a book called Fear by Thich Nhat Hahn, and it's amazing. It's about mindfulness, and it's about using mindfulness to get us out of fear and anxiety. And in it, he says something along the lines of unconditional acceptance is what is the first step towards the miracle of forgiveness. That is a lot of words in an amazing sentence. And I want you to ponder that. Because one of the things I've been learning as I've been studying forgiveness is that forgiveness is not necessarily about the person that we need to forgive. It's about ourselves and what we need to do to let go. And sometimes what we need to do to let go is have that unconditional acceptance of ourselves. So as you're in this big, vulnerable, heart-opening, chest-opening moment, can you have unconditional acceptance of yourself? Can you have unconditional acceptance of everybody around you? Now let's come up onto our forearms, our fingertips pointing towards our hips. We can remove the block. Gazing back into this fish pose, and we'll take 3 lion's breaths where we inhale through our nose and then exhale, opening our mouth, sticking out our tongue crazy like, and just really, right? So inhale, exhale, lion's breath. Inhale, exhale. One more. Lion's breath, let it out. Beautiful. Rolling up to seated. Let's take a moment and sit in a comfortable seated position, arms up overhead. We've been kind of doing a lot of things with our spine. So we're gonna take our spine this way and this way. So arms up overhead. Let's clasp our fingers, releasing our pointer fingers. Inhale up, exhale over to the right, gazing over to the left perhaps, feeling that right hand pulling the left. Maybe we're pointing just sort of slightly back to the back corner of the room to our right. Feeling that stretch up the side body, feeling that flexion in the spine. And now inhale, release up. Exhale over to the left, gazing to the right. Again, that left hand pulling the right, feeling that stretch of the side body, reaching those fingertips back towards the back corner of the room to the left side. Breathing one more time. And back to center. Let's take our hand down to the mat, coming maybe down to our forearm as we reach. Inhale up, other side. Inhale up. Let's take our hands down to our knees, chin to your chest. Keeping a straight back, we're not rounding the spine. Shoulders down, shoulder blades in towards your spine. Chin to your chest. Inhale and look up. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale up. Come back to neutral. Let's look to the right. Let's look to the left. Back to the right. And back to the left. And now let's take our right ear to our right shoulder. Reaching around perhaps with our right hand, grabbing a hold of our left ear, really pulling that down. And then maybe sending this left arm out, feeling that kind of intense stretch in the arm as well. And release and switch sides. Left ear to left shoulder. Reaching around, grabbing hold of the right ear, extending that right arm out. And release. Arms up overhead. We're going to take our left hand to our right knee. The right arm falls behind. Inhale, lift and lengthen, belly button in. Exhale, peeling the chest open, gazing over the right shoulder as we twist. Using the breath to inhale, lengthen the top of your head, exploding through the ceiling. Exhaling, twisting deeper. Using the breath to go deeper into the pose. Really long, slow inhales as you lengthen. Slow exhales as you twist. And release. Opposite side. Right hand to the left knee. The left arm falls behind. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, twist on that. Exhale through your nose. Inhale, rise. Exhale, twist. Returning to center. Let's roll over our knees here, coming into our child's pose one more time. Our hips low, sending those fingertips out, feeling that stretch in the back. And now let's come to our downward facing dog, sending our hips high, heels down towards the ground. It's never necessary to get your heels on the ground. If they do that, that's cool. First downward facing dog of the day. Let's shake our head yes. Shake our head no. Lifting your right heel, bend the knee, and open up your hip. Let's bring that right foot down. Let's lift that left heel and open up the hip. And bring that left heel down. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Filling up. Empty. Tiptoe those feet to our hands, one foot in front of the other as we come into our forward fold. Reaching those fingertips towards the mat. Maybe we can reach back and grab a hold of our heels, pulling our head down. Let's take opposite hand to opposite elbow, ragdoll. Swing side to side. Maybe we shake our head yes and no here. Maybe we clasp our hands, bring them to our nape of our neck, really pulling our head further down towards our shins. Releasing those fingertips. Inhale to a flat back, hands coming to shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale as we rise into our extended mountain pose, reaching up, arms up overhead, hands coming to heart center, gently closing your eyes. Taking a moment to check in with an intention that you might have for class. What is your why for doing yoga? What is your why for doing anything, right? Focus on that. Keep focused on that no matter what you're doing, and everything will turn out all right. Opening your eyes, arms up overhead, extended mountain pose. Let's bring our hands to our sacrum. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, reaching back, looking back, going back, taking this back bend, pushing your hips forward. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Let's step back to our high plank, lowering down to our knees, coming down to our bellies to set up for cobra. Inhale as we rise into cobra, just like the ones from before, pushing in with our feet. Exhaling back to our downward facing dog. Breath in, breath out. Bringing our right foot forward, dropping to our left knee in this modified warrior one, arms up overhead. Let's take our this is our left toe, kind of back at a 45-degree angle, like we would have in our warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, let's take our chest to thigh. Inhale, rise. Exhale, chest to thigh. Inhale, rise. One more, chest to thigh. Inhale, rise. Let's open up to a modified warrior two. Inhale as you lift your arm up, taking that reverse warrior. Exhale, elbow to knee, reaching over with the left arm. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, modified extended side angle. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, modify. Inhale, reverse. And now let's take our hands to the mat on the outside of our right foot. And we're going to come into our lizard pose. Hands actually inside of our right foot. And then we have the block. You have a couple. You can place a hand on both blocks. Enjoying this stretch right here. I'm feeling an intense stretch in my left leg here. If you want to work on the block, coming down your forearms on the block. Keeping that right knee and right shoulder really married together. They're stuck together, glued together. And if you like, you can also come down to the mat. But I challenge you today to modify to get stronger, using the props and using the blocks to help you make sure you've got the integrity of the pose down and that you really are ready to move through a yoga practice without the blocks. So hugging in here, And now let's inhale as we rise up. Placing that right hand on the outside of our right foot, tucking the toes, stepping back to our downward facing dog, and we breathe in and breathe out. Inhale, exhale, fill up, empty. Let's take our left foot forward for that modified warrior one, our right knee down, our right foot coming down at that sort of 45-degree angle. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, taking that chest to thigh. Inhale to rise. Exhale, chest to thigh. Inhale, rise. Exhale, chest to thigh. Inhale, lift. Exhale, chest to thigh. And this time as we rise, we're going to come into our modified warrior two. And then we'll flow through a reverse warrior to our modified extended side angle. So inhale as you reverse. Exhale, right elbow to right knee, reaching that left arm over. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, extended side angle. One more reverse. And now let's bring those hands on the inside of the left foot as we come into our lizard pose. Again, using blocks as you need to. The beauty of blocks is they have several different heights. So whatever you need to make you feel like you're having this good hip opening experience right here, go for it. So if you need, prop yourself up with these blocks this way, or use the block to come down onto your forearms. Or if you're feeling like it, you can also bring your forearms directly onto the mat. But try to keep left knee, left shoulder stuck together, glued together as you release into this hip opener. Unconditional acceptance for ourselves, for everyone around us. Can we find it? And I keep going back to that as I myself work through that sentence that I brought up at the beginning of class. Because that's a lot of amazing concepts, especially when you come down to the idea of the miracle of forgiveness. Because sometimes forgiveness does feel like a miracle. It's not sometimes, all the time, if you really think about it. All right, let's release up. We will remove the block and let's release back to our downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale, fill up, empty, big breath in, release, walking our feet to our hands, going one foot at a time into this forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale, exhale, fold, rising up, extended mountain pose, reaching up, looking up. Let's cactus our arms, take that back bend, pushing those hips forward as you look back, go back. Exhale, folding forward, forward fold, halfway lift, stepping out to our high plank, modifying down as we lower down to our bellies. Inhaling as we rise to cobra. Downward facing dog. Breath in, breath out. Right heel rises, bringing it forward for warrior one this time. Feeling free to maintain that modification, being down on the knee. Inhale as we lift. Exhale, taking that chest to thigh. Inhale, rise. Exhale, chest to thigh. Inhale, rise. Exhale, chest to thigh. Inhale, rising and opening to warrior two. Reversing your warrior. Taking that elbow to your knee for that extended side angle. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, extend. One more reverse. Now cartwheeling our hands to the mat. We'll bring our knee down again. Setting up to flow through some of our half splits. The full splits into your practice. Absolutely go for that. If you're working on full splits and you've got a block handy, you can always place that block right under your leg to work on those full splits. Or we can just flow through these half splits. Inhaling our chest forward. Exhaling, pushing back, popping those toes. Feeling that stretch of the leg, holding there for a few. Inhale forward. Exhale back, popping the toes. Inhale forward. Now maybe keeping our foot planted, our right foot planted as we push back. See if there's a difference there. Inhale forward. Keeping that foot planted as we push back. Inhale forward, planting the hands, popping that left knee up, stepping back to our downward facing dog. We take a breath in and a breath out. Our left heel rises on an inhale, swinging it forward, coming up to warrior one, modifying as we need to on down on our right knee. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chest to thigh. Inhale, rise. Exhale, taking that chest to thigh. Inhale, lift. Exhale, chest to thigh. Inhale, one more. Exhale, chest to thigh. And then inhale, rising up and opening to our warrior two. Reversing our warrior. Extended side angle, reaching over with the right. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, reach. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, reach. One more. Cartwheeling those hands down to the mat. Taking this right knee down, setting up for our half splits on this side. Planting our hands on either side of our left foot as we inhale our chest forward. Exhale, push back, popping those toes, holding here. Breath in and out through your nose, gaining that ujjayi breath. Inhale forward, exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale, keeping that left foot planted this time perhaps. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Beautiful. Inhale forward, popping those right toes, right knee up, pushing back to your downward facing dog. Breath in, breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Filling up. Empty. Walking our feet to our hands. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Rising up one vertebrae at a time. Extended mountain pose, reaching up. Let's take these jellyfish arms. Sending our shoulders back and feeling looking back. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Fold. Halfway lift. Step back, lowering down to your knees to modify. Lowering all the way down to your bellies. Inhale into our cobra. Downward facing dog. Belly button into spine as we lift. Inhale. Exhale. Filling up. Empty. Breath in. Breath out. Let's lift our right heel to the sky. Let's bring it forward for our crescent lunge. Arms up overhead. Left heel popped. We're on the ball mount of our left foot. Options to be down on our knee here. Inhale, reaching up. Let's bring our hands to heart center. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, twisting to the right. Bring our left elbow to our right knee. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. Working on getting the hands back to heart center. As we're inhaling, the crown of our head is moving forward towards the front of the room. Exhaling, that right shoulder is pulling back. Shoulder blades in. As we open up our chest more and more. Opening the heart, opening the chest. Vulnerable moment. As we breathe and twist. Detoxing the internal organs. Gazing up. And now let's exhale, opening to our warrior two. Reverse our warrior, inhale, and then cartwheel those hands to the mat, moving through your vinyasa however you would like. I'm modifying today, lowering down, Inhale into cobra. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Let's lift our left heel. Bring that left foot forward. Crescent lunge. Building our solid base, making sure the core is engaged as we rise up. Hands to heart center. Inhale, lift and lengthen, belly button in. Right elbow to left knee as we twist. Inhaling, the crown of our head reaching towards the front of the room. Exhaling, we're peeling that shoulder, that left shoulder open. Working these hands back to heart center. Opening up. Detoxing the body, the internal organs as we twist. Literally rinsing everything out in these twists. So inhale and lengthen. Exhale, twist deeper. Breath in. Breath out, twist. Inhale. Opening to our warrior two. Reverse that warrior. And then cartwheel those hands to the mat. Moving through your vinyasa to meet in our downward facing dog. Down up. Empty. Big breath in. Release. Inhale. Exhale. Let's lift our right heel to the sky. Bring it forward for warrior one. Rising up. Opening to warrior two. And let's take our right hand down to the ground. Gazing up at our left thumb. Coming back to our warrior two. Coming into our warrior one. And now preparing to fly into our warrior three. Grounding through this right foot. We start to pop up on our left toes a little bit here. And flying forward. Hip pointed down towards the ground. Into our warrior three. And then coming to standing in our extended mountain pose, arms down by our side, Tadasana. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward, halfway lift. Stepping back, moving through your vinyasa your way. Lowering down. Inhaling to rise, cobra, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Breath in, breath out. Left heel rises. Bring it forward for our warrior one. Arms up. Opening to warrior two. Taking this left hand down towards the mat, using a block as needed. Reaching up, gazing up. Back to our warrior two. Back to our warrior one. And now taking our warrior three. That right hip pointed down towards the mat. Right toes flexed, reaching with the right fingertips. And then bring that right foot to meet the left. Extended mountain pose. Arms down by our side, Tadasana. Arms up overhead. Right arm under, right leg over, setting up for our eagle pose. Modifications in our eagle. Kickstanding here if we're not feeling very stable in our balance this morning. If the pretzely shoulder isn't working, if the eagle arms aren't working this morning, taking our genie arms, perhaps a butterfly hug. Taking your option for your eagle today. Sinking into that eagle. Arms up overhead, switch sides, left arm under, left leg over. and release. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward, reaching for those toes. Halfway lift. Step back, moving through your vinyasa. Lowering down on your exhale. Inhale to rise. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Breath out. Fill up. Empty. Big breath in. Release. Let's come out to our high plank position just for a moment, and we're going to lower down to our bellies. Chin on the mat. Tops of the feet on the mat, toes together to touch, arms down by our sides, setting up for our belly down postures, starting with locust. So your toes are together to touch unless your low back is talking to you this morning and telling you not nice things. If that's happening, you can bring your toes about hips width distance. But if not, toes together to touch, arms down on the mat, palms on the mat. On your next inhale, lifting up, hugging everything in together. All of the skin, muscle, and bones wrapping around the bones. Inhale, lift, belly button into your spine, shoulders, blades back and down, chest rising, lifting up, and exhale and release. Taking a cleansing breath in and a cleansing breath out. Chin on the mat, arms down by your side, palms on the mat. On your next inhale, lifting up, rising up, thighs spinning in towards each other, belly button into your spine. You're still breathing in and out through your nose, keeping that Ujjayi breath active even here. Inhale and lift, and exhale, release. Taking a cleansing breath in and a cleansing breath out. Let's come into our floor bow options. If floor bow is in your practice, you're pretty solid with and you're feeling good, reach back and grab a hold of your toes. If it's not your thing, I'm going to start with my right toes, reaching my right hand out. And I encourage you, I'm in a very modification mood today, so I encourage everybody to try a modification just to help build the strength necessary to really build the integrity of the full expression of the pose. So no one's watching, no shame in modifying ever. Modifications make us stronger. Ask me about that sometimes because I've got all kinds of stories to tell about that. So starting with our chin on our mat, I've got my right hand wrapped around my right toes, and I'm sitting my left arm out like I'm trying to shake someone's hand. On our inhale, I'm going to lift. Inhale and lift, pulling those right toes up, the left arm reaching up. I'm reaching with that left arm, pulling with the right, and release. Switching sides if we're doing one at a time. Inhale, rise up, reaching with that right arm, pulling with that left. And release. Let's windshield wiper our feet back and forth. Releasing that low back. And then return. Let's roll over onto our backs. Setting up for bridge or wheel. If you have a block, grab a hold of it. A few things with our blocks. Restorative bridge is an option. Placing that block, actually, lower down onto your back first. Coming into setting up for bridge. So our heels are close to our glutes, about hips width distance. So that's about that 2 fists distance. And then grounding through the heels, lifting up the sacrum enough to place that block here. And again, with blocks, there's several different heights. So you can kind of raise the block up to the height that you want. And then relaxing over that block, maybe even extending the legs out, coming into this restorative bridge. This is one option for you. If you want full expression bridge, taking the block between the knees will help make sure the knees stay in line, grounding down to rise up, lifting those hips, clasping your hands underneath you, coming up onto your shoulders to really make sure we can get those hips lifted super, super duper high. And now restorative bridge, if you've chosen that option, stay there, no need to move. Adjust if you need to, or if you want to come into a regular bridge, you may. But if you're enjoying restorative, stay there. All the rest of us, let's lower down. Taking a cleansing breath in and a cleansing breath out. Rounding down to rise up, clasping our hands, coming up onto our shoulders, lifting high. Lifting higher than we think we can. And now lowering down. If wheel is your practice, feel free to take it this next round. Restorative bridgers, just stay exactly where you are. Regular bridgers, with a block or without a block, ground down, wheel and bridge, ground down to rise up. Lifting those hips, clasping those fingertips, coming up onto our shoulders in our bridge. And release down. Lovely. Let's remove the block. Restorative bridge, remove the block. You had the bridge, the block between your knees, remove it. Coming into our Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees split open. One hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Gently closing your eyes and breathing. And let's bring our knees together, hugging our knees into our chest. We'll rock side to side, releasing, giving ourselves that low back massage. Hug your knees in tight to your chest, bringing your forehead close in, rolling into a tight little ball. And now let's start to rock and roll the length of our spine. We're going to pause in a boat pose. Several options for our boat pose. We can have our feet down, arms out in front of us. And you can lift one leg, maybe the other. Extending both legs out, so it looks more like full expression. I'm going to keep my legs here for this one. Hugging in, inhaling, exhaling, low boat, high boat, low boat, high boat, inhale, exhale, lower, inhale, rise, lowering, rising, lowering, and rising. One more, and release down. Beautiful. Let's lower onto our backs. One more core exercise. Sending our heels up to the sky on this 90-degree angle here. We may want to place our hands underneath our sacrum maybe. And then we're going to lower our heels slowly down towards the mat, letting them hover a couple of inches above the mat. And then we'll scissor our legs. And now let's bring those heels back up and lower them down, hovering. And now let's scissor our legs this way. And bring those heels back up. And lower them down. This time we'll just hover, holding them here. Lifting those heels up, removing your hands from your sacrum. Time for a inversion of our choice, and we're in a perfect one if you want to stay here. If you want to stay in this waterfall and you've got a block, lifting your hips up onto the block, heels up at that 90-degree angle, relaxing back, taking this waterfall. You can also take a moment for legs up the wall, or if headstand, handstand, forearm stand, any of those inversions are in your practice and you want to play, absolutely play with that right now. And shoulder stand is also an option for you. I'm going to hang out in this waterfall. It's pretty good. If you are in shoulder stand, bring your legs behind you coming into plow. Maybe you can take the deaf man's pose, bringing your knees to your ears. And now let's shoulder stand, releasing out of that deaf man's pose, lifting back into shoulder stand before lowering all the way down. Headstands, handstands, other inversions, come on down. Taking a moment in a child's pose after your headstand or handstand or forearm stand. And now everyone coming down to our backs. We did a fish pose in the beginning of class. It's always our counter pose for inversions. So bringing those fingertips close in towards your tailbone. Coming up onto our forearms, gazing back. Inhale, lion's breath. Inhale, exhale, breath in, breath out. Beautiful. Let's inhale, rising up. We've got our legs extended in front of us, taking our seated forward fold one more time again as well. Just noticing any difference from now, from the beginning of class. Our arms reaching up, we identify our peace fingers, wrapping those peace fingers around our big toes, keeping a flat back. If you need to bend your knees, that's totally fine. The flat back is the most important part here. And eventually, you'll be able to work those heels out a little bit, where you have your legs straight perhaps, if that's what you would like to do. Remember, unconditional acceptance for our bodies the way they are now. We are great and wonderful the way we are now, even if our bodies have seemed like they're a constant source of pain for us. They still do amazing things for us every day. And the fact that you're here doing these poses, whether it's modified or not, is amazing. And release. Let's bring our left foot into our right thigh for our Janushirasana. This is another one where there's a way to make it look pretty and there's a way to do it right. So we're going to clasp our fingers and making that basket grip around our fingers. The point of this pose is forehead to knee. So bend your knee as much as you can to make that happen. This is correct. Now over time, and if it's in your practice, you can scoot that heel out and get your forehead down to your knee with your legs straight. That's super cool, but it isn't necessary. The point of the pose is forehead to knee. It's what it's called. It's not about the straight leg. Inhale, rise up. Let's extend that left leg up. Right leg in, clasping our hands, making that basket grip, bending your knee as much as you need to make the forehead to knee connection happen. Most important thing. And release up. Extending that leg out. We're going to roll onto our backs. Bringing our right knee up into our chest, clasping our hands around our right knee, bringing our right knee up and around our rib cage, hugging that knee into our armpit, compressing the right side body. Our left foot is flexed, our right foot is relaxed, hugging that knee in. And now let's take this right knee over for a spinal twist. The goals here are to get our right knee all the way to the ground where our right shoulder remains on the ground. But these spinal twists feel so good no matter what you do. So whatever works for you today is fine. Just know those are the goals and see what you can do over time, a lot of time, to make it happen. breathing into the twist, not forgetting the breath. It's easier to breathe in these poses, but sometimes we might lose sight of the ujjayi breath that we were controlling throughout the practice. So keeping the breath in through the nose and out through the nose as you twist deeper, exhaling to get deeper into this pose. And if you need more, maybe you can take those eagle legs. And now let's release, sending our right leg long, our left knee up and around our rib cage, hugging that left knee into our armpit. Right foot is flexed, left foot is relaxed. Hugging that knee in, compressing the left side body. This pose, wind relieving pose, aids in digestion, which oddly enough, proper digestion leads to better mood and less anxiety. Now let's bring this left knee around the body. Bring this left knee closer and closer to the ground as that left shoulder remains on the ground. Doing what's necessary to feel good in this twist. Again, eagle legs may get you more depth if that's what you're going for. But do what feels good to you, regardless of how it looks or what you think you're supposed to do in this pose. The only thing that's most important is the breath. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling, maybe getting that twist a little deeper each time you exhale. And releasing back to center, hugging both knees into the chest. Bringing your forehead up to your knees into this tight little ball, tensing every muscle in your body before relaxing down, coming into that Shavasana. If you have blocks and a bolster, I invite you to take this restorative Shavasana, taking these blocks together perpendicular at this 90-degree angle, and then relaxing the bolster over, making your own little yoga barca lounger here. Bringing your hips up to the bolster, relaxing back, chest open. Oh, God, this is so good. Regular Shavasana laying, rolling out on your back is amazing too. Making whatever option work for you. Unconditional acceptance. Can you make it happen for yourself, for your friends, for people you might not completely agree with right now? Thich Nhat Hahn says unconditional acceptance is the first step towards the miracle of forgiveness. Whoa. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting us through all of this. And we can't wait to see you in the hot room. The light, the love, the teacher and the student in me sees and recognizes the light, the love, the teacher and the student in each and every one of you. Namaste.